Week 18. Now, guys, for those of you that saw my community post, my post on my community tab, you guys know I didn't film a Week 17 prediction video, and that's because that night, I did a Twitch stream. I was live on Twitch for like 5.5 hours. So I was kind of tired after that. Well, not kind of. If I'm being honest with myself, I was really tired. And I didn't get around to film the Week 17 predictions. So we're going to go ahead and film the final week of Week 18. Week 18, the final week of football. Let's get into it. So, for those of you guys that saw this game, there were two games that were played this past week. Sunday, Monday game. Steelers, Ravens, Bills, Bengals. Final score of the Steelers-Ravens game. The Steelers barely pulling off a W by a field goal. 16-13, Steelers win it. And for those of you guys that probably saw this game as well, which I'm pretty sure is the majority of you guys saw what went down during the Bills-Bengals game. And this game was postponed due to Bills safety Damar Hamlin collapsing. Prayers up for Damar Hamlin as he is recovering. I wish him a speedy recovery. The last time I heard anything about him, he seemed to be doing, I want to say okay. And the last thing I heard about him was they got his heart rate and, he's able to breathe somewhat better now. They got his heart rate back to normal. And he has been recovering. So, again, well wishes and prayers up for Damar Hamlin. Tomorrow's games for Week 18. We have the Chiefs-Raiders game that will be played at 3 o'clock. I'm going with the Chiefs to win that one. Titans-Jaguars at 7:15. I'm going with the Titans. And I do want to let you guys know before I get into the rest of these predictions, I'm filming this at like midnight. So I'm going to try to speed through these as quick as I can. So, next up, we have the Browns. We have the Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers to win this game. Next up, we have another 12 o'clock game between the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. Give me the Bengals to win that one. Another 12 o'clock game for tomorrow. We have the Minnesota Vikings. We have the Chicago Bears. I'm going with the Vikings to win that game. Next up, another 12 o'clock game for Sunday. We have the Patriots. We have the Bills. Give me the Bills to win that one, man. after what happened to Damar Hamlin, I'm going with the Bills. Not only am I predicting them to win, I'm hoping for them to win. Like, do it for Damar Hamlin, man. Next up, we have the Jets, Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins to win that one. We have a division matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons from the NFC South Division. As much as I hate to say it, man. For those of you guys that saw the Panthers-Bucks game, I'll get to that here in just a second. But for those of you that saw that game, yeah. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next up, Panthers, Saints. Come on, man. You guys already know. Give me the Carolina Panthers. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Saints do look a little bit tougher than they were last time, so hopefully the Panthers can finish strong. Now, as I get into what went down last week between the Buccaneers and the Panthers, Buccaneers fans, be honest with yourselves. You guys got handed that win. You guys got handed that win. There were a bunch of no calls. There were quite a few penalties that were called on the wrong team. Now, I'm not going to lie when I say Keith Taylor. Get him out. Boot him off of Carolina, please. He can't cover he can't cover anyone to save his freaking life, man. Like, the dude was getting burnt by Mike Evans all game. So, please, Panthers, during this offseason, please release Keith Taylor. Like, again, Buccaneers fans, be honest with yourselves. You guys got handed that win. That blatant pass interference call, or I should say no call, but that blatant pass interference on Russell Gage holding on the Panthers when it should have been on the Buccaneers. Like, I think it was Sam Franklin, if I remember correctly. I forget who he was covering at the time, right at the end of the play. But Franklin had his helmet off, dude. The Buccaneer player had pulled his helmet off. And they call holding penalty on Carolina? Like, as soon as these penalties that weren't called and, the holding call that was called on the wrong team, as soon as those penalties were going down, those calls and no calls were going down, right then and there I knew, yep, these biased officials are all for Brady. These biased officials are all for Brady because they cannot stand. These biased officials cannot stand to see Brady not make the playoffs. Like, Buccaneers fans, be honest with yourselves. You guys got handed that win. And I do mean handed on a silver freaking platter. Like, I even told my buddy, Wyatt, shout out. I was messaging him a little while ago. And as I was thinking of filming this video, Like, I even told them I was going to have a lot to say about the Panthers Bucks game. So, like, let's be honest. The Buccaneers got handed that win. And if those penalties, those calls and no calls, were called correctly, unbiased, if they were called correctly like they should have been, the Panthers would be NFC South champions right now. Now, again, I'm not going to lie. Part of the reason why we lost was because of Keith Taylor. Like, what else is new? He can't he can't cover crap. Let's be honest. Even loyal Panthers fans like myself have to be honest. Keith Taylor, he needs to be gone. Get rid of Keith Taylor, please. Not only do we need to get rid of Keith Taylor, we need to sign Josh Norman to a contract extension because the dude was playing as good as he did in 2015. He was. I mean, of course, it was only one snap at the beginning of the game where he was covering Mike Evans, but he covered Mike Evans just as good as he used to. He played solid man coverage, covering Mike Evans. Now, had he been covering Mike Evans the whole game, I feel like we would have had an even better chance to win. And honestly, if you have a defensive back, I'll give you guys a scenario here. Let's say that you guys are, like, for those of you guys that are Panther fans, like myself, if you were the owner of the Carolina Panthers and you had a corner that can play good man coverage and wasn't getting targeted too often, that's the type of corner that you want. That's the type of defensive back that you want. Because that shows that Brady was afraid of Norman. Brady was afraid of Norman. Brady hardly ever threw Norman's way. I mean, if I remember correctly, he only threw Norman's way a few times. But that's when Brady knew that wide receiver had Norman beat. But other than that, throughout most of the game, most of Brady's targets was to Mike Evans. When Brady knew Mike Evans had Keith Taylor, what else is new? When Mike Evans had Keith Taylor beat, which is majority of the game. So, case in point, the Buccaneers got handed that win. Let's be honest. The Buccaneers got handed that win. But yeah, even though we got screwed out of a win, hopefully the Panthers can still finish strong and walk out of New Orleans or Carolina, whichever one they're playing, wherever they're playing, with a W. We may have lost the Buccaneers, and we may have also gotten screwed out of a win, but hopefully we can still end the season with a win. Finish strong. We have to finish strong. And even though when we do lose and not get into playoffs, guys, I'm always going to be a Carolina fan. Always. I've been a Panther fan ever since 2011. And I always will be. Next up, Texans, Colts. Give me the Colts to win this one. Give me the Colts. Next up, we have a 3 o'clock game on Sunday. Cardinals, 49ers. To my buddy Wyatt, again, shout out. He's a Cardinals fan. I'm going to have to go with the San Francisco 49ers because, like, how many times do I have to say it? How many times do I have to say it? That Christian McCaffrey trade that happened earlier in the season is coming back to bite Carolina in the butt. And I'm telling you guys now, I called it. I called it. I knew this was going to happen. You guys can all, like, I'm glad I recorded that too. I think I did a weekly, I think I did a predict. I am stuttering so bad. I think I did a prediction video the week that trade happened too. And you guys can go back and rewatch that video. Like honestly, for real, go back and rewatch that video and try telling me I didn't call that. Because I did. It happened with Steve Smith. It happened with James Bradberry. It happened with Josh Norman, even though we have him back now, finally. It's happening with Hassan Reddick. And if the Colts were a little bit of a better team this year, it would be happening with Gilmore. I've seen this happen multiple times. Like, again, the players I just mentioned, I've seen this happen multiple times. Christian McCaffrey trade. The Christian McCaffrey trade is no different. Panthers let go of a star player that they thought was getting washed up and no longer good, injury prone, whatever you guys want to say. He goes to the 49ers. The first thing he does is he becomes the first player since LaDainian Tomlinson to rush for a touchdown, pass for a touchdown, and catch a receiving touchdown. Right then and there, I knew that this was going to happen. Now look at the 49ers. With Christian McCaffrey, I would not be surprised if they make it all the way to the NFC Championship again or the Super Bowl. I would not be surprised. Because I called it. I freaking called it. So, with all that being said, guys, I'm going to have to go with the San Francisco 49ers. Sorry, Wyatt. Cardinals are going to be taking an L for their last game. Next up, we have another division game. 5 division games. 6? Hang on. 6 division games. Back to back to back to back to back to back. Yes, the Cardinals-Niners game, I just forgot to mention, is a division game. We have a bunch of division games, guys, starting with the Buccaneers and Falcons, that, like I mentioned earlier. Panthers-Saints, division game. Texans-Colts. I said Texans. Texans-Colts, division game. Cardinals-Niners, division game. Cowboys-Commanders. Give me the Cowboys to win that one. Another division game. We have the Rams. We have the Seahawks. Another division game. But give me the Seahawks. Mayfield, yeah, he may be good with the Rams right now, playing against par or even subpar teams, but he was with Carolina throughout pretty much most of the season. So, throughout the time that he was with Carolina, he was going up against teams that were, you know, somewhat above par. I want to say at least like average, a little bit above average. So, the situation with Mayfield being with the Rams, it's honestly no different than how he was with the Panthers. And I guarantee you guys, if Mayfield stays with the Rams next season, it's going to show. I'm calling it right now. Next up, another division game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. Give me the Eagles to win that one, man. Give me the Eagles. Chargers, Broncos for another 3 o'clock game. The last of the 3 o'clock games, by the way. I've got the Chargers winning that one. Next up, the very last game for Week 18 at 7:20. We had the Lions, we have the Packers. As well as the Packers have been playing recently, past maybe week or two. Give me the Packers, man. Give me the Packers to win that one. And guys, that's going to conclude the final week of the NFL. Also, the final week of my predictions. If you guys like this series enough, if you guys like these videos enough for me to bring it back next season, hit the like button and let me know in the comments if you guys want to see this series return next season. Until then, guys, like I said, if you guys like this video, like this series, smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new to my channel. And guys, I will see y'all next season. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed. James Tate, we out.